Hey guys, welcome back to Tamiya Legends, and once again thank you for stopping by. So in this little video we're going to finish the 88 Avante off. On our last video with the Avante we ran her and we broke one of the left hand rear suspension arm unfortunately. So I've got some brand new re parts to fit. Now unfortunately it's a little bit of a mission to get into this. Got to kind of take the back end off to change it. While I've got that and I've stripped it off, I want to have a look at the centre diff, and it feels a little bit grainy. So I want to take it apart, make sure it's okay, re-grease it up. And also I've got new cam lock middles to finish this off, and I've got the leftover cam lock stickers from the re sheet that I used. So if we get centre diff, the back end sorted and the cam locks, then this thing will be completely finished and fully restored. So let's just have a quick look at what we're going to do. So a big shout out to Tony's Tamiya Parts on Facebook and eBay. He sorted me out with these new parts. Excellent service, can't big him up enough. So we've got a new set of rears. We've got the cam lock wheels, which comes with, the only thing these don't come with is the little Allen screws, but obviously I can use them from the originals. And then we've got the cam lock decals. So I think the first thing to do is get the wheels off, get the shell under tray wing off, and then we'll start. Everything's on circlips on this back end, so we're gonna have to. We'll take both arms on. If I'm gonna, obviously we've got one broken, but I'm gonna change them both, just in case this car gets run again. So we'll get them changed. While that's off, then I think I'm gonna have to take the top deck off so I can get into the centre diff. So let's get cracking with that. So I'll try to show you. So this is the part we have to replace. This is the part that's actually snapped down here. As you can see, sorry, this part's the bit that's snapped. This bit here. So as I say, we're going to have to unbolt from here and underneath to get these two arms free. Unbolt from here. Unbolt the top of the shock off, and then this unit's going to pull off. Two screws, the hub will come out, and then it's a case of taking the fixings off and fitting them onto here. There's two of those to do. I'll have to figure that out as we go, so let's get cracking with that. Right, so we've got this stripped down now. This is the old part. This is a bit that's snapped, you can see clearly now. This is the new piece. So all we're left to do is get this circlip off, pull the little shaft out, fit it to this, do the same on the shock, that's got a circlip on this side, fit the shock to here, and then untake this off and fit that to that, and then in theory that's that bit done. So let's get cracking with that, and that's it swapped over, simple as that. So as I said, that circlip off, fit the new one, same with the shock, and then just unscrew that off there. Now the difference in plastics, the only difference I can see is the new one is stamped D2 and obviously the other side is D1, where the original doesn't have any marks on it. So I'm kind of wondering now whether to not change the other side, just to keep it as original as I can. Obviously we have the right hand side one to fit if needed, and we also have front uprights to change if needed. So I think what I'm going to do is just leave it at that. And keep it as original as I can. Yeah, let's do that. So next stage is to get into this, get this centre diff out. Now unfortunately there's not an easy way of doing this. You have to take well, you don't have to take the top deck off, but you have to loosen it all. So I've taken all the screws out, obviously the diff cover, and then in theory if we just lift this up, that gives us room now to lift this up out of the way, whiz the gear off like that, and then we can leave the rest of the car intact. We'll put that on a dry cloth, and then we can start stripping this and seeing what's going on with it. So straight away, just by holding the diff and turning the bevel gear, I don't know if you can hear that. That doesn't sound great. We don't know what's wrong with it just yet, but we need to unscrew this Allen key head, take the spindle out, and then see what's going on in this unit here. Hopefully we'll get away with just re-seeing it all and re-greasing it, but let's have a look. So straight away, two things wrong with it. There was one ball missing, which is terrible. Luckily, I have a new ball in my little tub of screw spares, and it's the correct size. And secondly, it's absolutely bone dry. All the small ball bearings are there. What I will need to check is the direction of these clutch plates, just to make sure that they're seated in the right direction, and re-grease appropriately, easy for me to say. So this should be a very easy fix. So next thing to do, I'll whiz these 5 balls out, I'll drop some new fresh grease in, and then we'll start greasing the plates up individually and put it back together and see how that feels. Right, that's it all greased up. So I've taken the clutch plates off, or whatever you call them, re-greased the little centre bearings, this clutch plate, and we fitted the new ball into there, pushed it through with fresh grease. So let's bring it all together now, tighten it up and see how it feels. Right, I've had this apart a couple of times and rebuilt it. Everything is in the right direction. I've re-greased everything that needs greasing, but I'll shut up and then you can hear it. I'll just turn it gently. Sounds very grainy, so I'm not too sure what else I can do with that, to be honest. As I say, I'm probably not going to run this again. To be honest, I don't know how it should feel. It's way freer than it was, way freer, but it's not as smooth as I would like, although I'm just wondering if I do get the grease worked round on it, it does feel to be getting better. It's just the sound of it, it sounds like it's rubbing. But anyway, yeah, it's way freer than it was. So I'm going to leave it at that, and then we'll get it back in the car now, and re-grease the spur and the bevel and get it back in the gearbox. Right, that's the top deck back on, all the screws and the steering sorted out. Centre diff cover back on, so the top deck is bolted down now. So now it's just a case of fitting these arms back on. As I say, I chose not to fit the new upright on this one. I want to leave it original. So we'll get these two back on now. And that's it all built back up. Everything's tightened back up. The arms are now on. Very free. Obviously no motor fitted, and the suspension arms work a treat. So that's that stage done, so I'm happy with that. So that's the chassis now finished. What we need to do now is probably change the camlock wheels over. So the reason I'm changing these over is one main reason: all 4 of the originals have split, as they do, common fault, but you can fix it with a tyre wrap. Even on new ones, actually, if you're going to run them, you should stick a small tyre wrap round just to give it extra support. Everybody over tightens cam locks. It generally doesn't snap when you're running them. It's because people over tighten them with the fingers. But nevertheless, so all 4 of these have got tyre wraps on. And the second reason is just cosmetics, because obviously they're not quite as new as they should be, and the cam lock decals themselves, they don't look great. So all we've got to do is, if you see in there, there's 2 Allen screws, just whiz them out, and I just need the screws out the old ones, that's it, and then we'll take them off the parts tray, refit the little cam lock arms, and then we'll cut the decals out and get them finished off. Right, I see new cam locks fitted, new decals, cam lock decals on, and I've also just trimmed with a craft knife the writing, just sharpened it up a little bit on the tyres. It's not the best I've ever done, but well, not even from a distance, but it still looks pretty cool. So let's get the car built back up. And she's done, and this has been a real pleasure doing this one. My favourite Tamiya of all time. I just love this car. It just really moved the goalposts for Tamiya. And obviously it's an original. So that is a full, or my version of a full restoration on this car, and I've kept it as original as I can. I think I've done it in such a way where I can call it original. I know the chassis and all the running gear, that's original, but you know, a few rear decals, rear under tray and wheels and tyres, but there's just nothing you can do about that today, unless you can source original stuff, which you just can't do. And even if you could find it, you won't pay those prices. So anyway, I'm very happy with that. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. It's much appreciated. And as always, happy RCing.